The Labour government have made it no secret that they are going to be making some crazy decisions ahead of the October budget to combat this fake £22 billion black hole. It's been exposed as a gimmick by multiple politicians, and ahead of the October budgets, a shocking revelation has emerged. In today's video, we will discuss this in detail, whilst also going over all of the latest news from up and down the country. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and join our fast-growing community. Chancellor Rachel Reeves may need to raise up to £25 billion in taxes to support Labour's spending plans, according to the Institute for Fiscal Studies, IFS. Their Green Budget report, funded by the Nuffield Foundation and based on forecasts from Citi, outlines the challenges Reeves will face as she prepares for her first budget on October 30th. Reeves is limited by Labour's manifesto, promises not to increase major taxes such as income tax, corporation tax, national insurance, and VAT. IFS Director Paul Johnson warns that her upcoming budget could be the most impactful since at least 2010. To avoid spending cuts, and to honour her commitment to borrow only for investment, Reeves would need to implement a £16 billion tax increase to balance the budget by 2028 to 29. This would be in addition to the £9 billion tax rise mentioned in Labour's manifesto, bringing the total to nearly £25 billion. Such an increase would exceed those seen in July 1997 and October 2010, which were around £13 to £14 billion each. Despite this, Labour's pledge not to raise key taxes poses a significant hurdle for Reeves in achieving the necessary tax increases. To meet this year's pay settlements and prevent future cuts to public services, the IFS estimates she would need to allocate an additional £30 billion for daily spending by 2028 to 2029, amidst claims of inheriting a £22 billion deficit from the previous government. Reeves has acknowledged the need for tough decisions, but has ruled out a return to austerity. Speculation exists regarding potential strategies for raising funds, with the IFS suggesting that reforms to capital gains tax could be an option, although Paul Johnson emphasises the importance of careful reform rather than simple tax hikes. Changes to inheritance tax are also rumoured to be considered. These discussions come as public finances remain strained, with taxes at record highs and public services under pressure, particularly affecting prisons, police, and local councils. Johnson highlights the Chancellor's challenge, noting the temptation to borrow more, which could involve altering the definition of targeted debt under fiscal rules. However, he cautions that this approach carries risks due to the UK's existing budget and current account deficits. Benjamin Nabarro, chief UK economist at Citi, presents a cautiously optimistic view of the UK economy, suggesting opportunities for structural reform. However, he notes that the UK faces unique budget constraints, including significant debt and a current account deficit, which differ from those in other advanced economies. In other news, a police officer who missed an emergency 999 call because he was having sex with his ex-girlfriend has resigned. PC Stephen Austin allegedly went to the woman's home in the middle of the day, despite being on shift. Whilst the pair were having sex, the constable received a Grade 1 emergency call on his police radio. The call concerned a fight that had broken out following an attempted robbery at a shop. The owner had been repeatedly punched during the robbery, and he then began to chase the suspect. This meant that there needed to be an immediate police response, as there could have been a danger to life. Austin allegedly ignored 4 separate calls from colleagues who tried to get a hold of him on his radio, a tribunal in March heard. Instead of responding, Austin spent 90 minutes at the house before he left, resuming his shift. The woman later texted a friend who used to date Austin too. She said, "He missed a call on his radio while we were in the middle." Replying, the friend said, "During work, that's a job loser. Tell work." This led to an investigation by Sussex police. The pair had been in a long-standing relationship together, sharing a child. However, they split up sometime before the rendezvous. The incident is said to have happened on November 23, 2021, after Austin allegedly contacted the woman and invited himself to her house at around 1:30 p.m. doorbell footage, and phone mapping place Austin at the property. However, he claims he was only there for 13 minutes. At the tribunal, he denied all allegations made against him. The case has been adjourned, but Austin has now suddenly resigned from the force. The former Sussex police officer will face no further action and will be able to keep his police pension. In other news, Princess Kate showed inner tension during her first public engagement, since ending her course of chemotherapy, a body language expert has claimed. The Prince and Princess of Wales stepped out in Southport on Thursday to meet the bereaved families of the stabbing victims. This marked Kate's first public engagement since announcing the end of her chemotherapy. Judy James, a body language expert, spoke about the princess's return to public life, saying, "Kate's visit involved some familiar body language behaviours, both her own and as a couple with William." She explained how, at first we saw Kate in quieter, listening and empathetic mode, due to the rather sad nature of the event, but she soon became more animated as she talked. James noted how the princess was raising her hands in a series of cupping rituals, sometimes with spiked fingers registering the strength of her emotional input. Elsewhere, the expert analysed the royal couple's joint body language, explaining, "One very sweet, familiar trait is that of intense mirroring between Kate and William. This has always been their signature look, and it is happily as intense as ever. There are times they sit looking completely twinned here, heads cocked at the same angle to listen, and hands clasped over their knees. Even their outfits are matching." James continued to tell the Mail, "There is also a moment when that signature, Kate's smile, returns, as one of the people they're meeting makes them laugh. It's the same wide, perfect smile we've seen Kate do for years, but it's good to see a return of it during one of her first visits since her illness. There are also a couple of signs of what looks like inner tension. When she arrives, she clasps her bag in front of her torso with both hands, and when she sits, she holds one wrist with the other hand in what looks like a very tight clasp. But she visibly relaxes as the visit goes on until she is standing talking to one of the responders in a more energetic, animated way." The princess made the emotional trip with her husband to Southport to comfort the families of the 3 girls who lost their lives in July's knife attack tragedy. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.